Hello everyone, this is Juicy Digital. My name's Josh Thorpe, and today we're going to be looking at the inertia expression. Now, for those of you who don't know, inertia is where something comes to an abrupt halt and kind of bounces around a central point before it stops completely. You may have seen that in the example that I uploaded last week. I've got another example here to show you. So you see there was a bunch of circles there bouncing around and doing their thing, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Today's tutorial is going to be a little bit different than normal. It's not going to be me telling you exactly how to make this scene or anything like that, but I'm just going to give you the essentials that you need to know, so that you can get really creative and make something that's quite frankly going to be much cooler than this is. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into After Effects. I've already got a little scene set up here, and you can just get creative with how you want yours to look. So I'm going to create a new text layer. Just going to call it Inertia. Using a really cool font here called BBAS New. Just so you all know. So inertia is an expression. Expressions can get really complicated. If you don't know what an expression is, I'm sure you've all heard of the wiggle effect. Now that's done using expression. This is a much more complex expression. I'll bring it up actually. And this is basically the code that After Effects reads. This is the expression that's used. Now, I'm not going to talk you through all of this complicated maths, and quite frankly I don't understand it all myself, but the most important values are these three here: the amplitude, the frequency and the decay. They're the only three that you really need to worry about and change at all to get whatever effect you're looking for. So just copy and paste that, or copy it first, and I think we're going to go for a position movement in this one. So bring up your position. Now to add an expression, you basically hold Alt and click on the little stopwatch, and you'll get this little text box pop up here, and that's where you paste your expression. So you just pop it in there, click off, and it appears like nothing's happened. But once you start keyframing, that's when all the magic is going to happen. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go over to 2 seconds here, pop a keyframe there in the middle, and then go back a few frames and just move it up to the top. Now when I hit play, actually I'm just going to disable so you can see the difference, like a before and after. I'm going to disable that expression, which you can do using that button there. So at the moment all it's going to do is just stop. Now that just looks horrible. Stop. Now normally what you'd do to get rid of that is like add an easy ease frame or something like that, but when the easy ease frame gets a little bit boring, this is when you start adding inertia. So I'm going to enable that expression again and just hit play, and now you'll see much more. Look at that, that's just so cool. Just bounces there for a little bit. Now inertia works really well if the animation is fast. So you can see here. See kind of that, it just bounces up and down for a little bit. Now I told you before that the three that you need to worry about are the frequency, the amplitude and the decay. Now if you scroll down you can find them here. I'll just talk you through a little bit about what each does. Now the amplitude will like decide how much it bounces, so like the distance that it travels. So if we up that up to like something quite high, like 0.9, what you'll see is it goes down really far. Like it goes a lot further than it needs to. So it's meant to finish in the center, but it goes all the way down to there. So if we go back and change that back to 4, you'll see that you saw it straight away that it kind of doesn't travel as far. The next one that we see is the frequency, and that's just for how long it goes. So if I up that to say 10 something really ridiculous. See, it just does it 10 times. So it just kind of does it really fast and crazy. So it looks a little bit silly. So I'm going to change that back to 3. Actually, I didn't change it to 3, I changed it to 30. Even worse. Okay, 3. And then this other one that you've got to look at is the decay. And now the decay is probably the most important one, and the one that you're going to change the most often. The decay decides how long it will carry on bouncing for. So I've kind of decided that 6 looks quite cool for this kind of animation style, but you might want it just to carry on bouncing there for like a long time. So if you lowered that, it kind of works a bit back to front, the decay. You have to lower it so it bounces for longer. So if you lower it to something like 2, and then we can see what that effect that has. See, it just kind of bounces there for a long time. So that carried on for about 2 seconds. Now you could go even further and go to 1 or go into the 0.5s or something like that. It will just go on for a long time, and it's still going, still going. But yeah, I mean, that might be the effect that you're going for. Now I've kind of played around and I found that 6 works really well. Where you could go up to something like really high, like 12, and it will just like bounce once. And that might be what you're looking for as well. But for the effect that I was going for in this example, 6 worked really well, so we'll just do that. Now something else that makes Inertia look really cool is motion blur. So I'm just going to turn the motion blur on here. So turn it on for the layer, turn it on for the composition. See, that had a big effect. That looks really cool. Now, the great thing about the Inertia expression, and expressions in general, is that you can add them to any value. So here I've done it on the position, but we could go really crazy and add it to the scale, the rotation, even opacity if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and get rid of the position one, copy the expression, and let's play with the scale. So exactly the same again. I'm going to add the expression in there by, remember, so it's holding Alt and clicking on the stopwatch, and then I'm just going to add some keyframes. Remember, the quick animation works really well. So I've just gone from 0, so you can't see it at all, up to 100. You see that? Works exactly the same, and it will wobble there in the scale. So if you actually look at the numbers down here, you can see how it's working. So it hits 100 where you've keyframed it, and then it goes beyond, and then below again, and above, until eventually it settles at 100. Let's play around with the rotation next and see how it works for that one. Actually, I'm going to leave the scale one there as well. Add the expression in. Keyframe it there at 0. Just go crazy with the rotation. And let's just see what happens there. See, look at that. How cool is that? Now that's wobbling like that because I haven't moved the anchor point, but that looks quite cool actually. But yeah, if you moved the anchor point, I'll just get it to a better point where I can change it. Remember, you can use the pan behind tool up there and just move it into the center, and then you get probably something more. There we go. So that looks kind of crazy, just because I've done so many rotations, but you could do something really simple like 180 degrees all the way around, but yeah, that's slightly more believable. But again, you just use this for anything that you want, and it's a really great effect to use. I just want to talk about render settings quickly. I've had a few people ask me the best settings to use and how to lower your file sizes and a few things like that. So what we're going to do is just set up a little preset, so you don't have to set it up every time you want to render. You can just click a couple of buttons and it's ready to go. I'm just going to use the example so we can have something to render. What you do is, I'm sure you know this much, is go to Composition, Add to Render Queue. So this is the one we want to render here. And right here it says lossless, and this is where you need to change stuff, just right next to the output module. Lossless is literally what is saying it's lossless. It won't do any compression whatsoever, and that may sound like a good thing, but compression is necessary and it doesn't look any different really. So what you have to do is click on that lossless and you get this little pop-up window with all the different settings that you can change. Now I often work with QuickTime Movie to get the .mov. It's just a great file type and works with loads of stuff, so I'm going to stick with that, but there's a few other things that you can have in there. But this is where you need to change stuff, the format options. So if you click that, you'll get another dialog box pop up, and you need to change some stuff in here. Now right at the top it says animation. This is the, I'm not really sure what animation is trying to say, but it's just not going to compress it. I know we're doing animation and it might make sense to use the animation module, but you're going to get crazy like 4 GB file sizes for 10 seconds of animation, so no one wants that. So what you do is you drop down that menu, and one that works really great is Photo JPEG. A number of these other ones are really good as well, but Photo JPEG is really great for 1 quality and 2 file size. So we're just going to choose that one, and down here there's another option called quality, and that's the compressor part. Now you could just go for best, and again you'd get quite a large file size, but not huge, much smaller already. But you don't even need to use best, you can lower it down to say 90, but there, or even lower really. It's still going to look reasonably good. So then you click OK. I always click audio output. One, because I always forget to check it, and then I have to end up rendering my stuff again just because I've forgotten to add audio, which is just a real pain. So I always have that checked. You can leave that if you want, if you never render audio out of After Effects, but I'm going to leave that checked. And then just click OK. Now, how you save that preset so that you can use it continually is go to this little drop, this little down arrow here, next to where we've just changed. Now it kind of goes out of the screen, so I'm sorry about that, but right at the bottom it says Make Template. So you get down here in the bottom part, you've got all your settings. Now you can change the name of that to say Photo JPEG 90, maybe, or just Photo JPEG, and then click OK. I've already set one up here as 90 JPEG, so that's the one I use, 90 JPEG. So once you've saved it, it will come up as the name. So you know you're all set to go, and then just click where you want it to save, just there, and render. Now these settings are great, and I use these settings all the time, so I'd strongly recommend using those. So thanks very much for watching today, guys. As I said, it's a really simple, quick tutorial. I just wanted to answer a few questions regarding rendering and just give you this great expression here. You should read up on expressions because they're really, really handy for animating and just making your workflow a little bit quicker. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember to check out the Twitter @JuicyVideo. Go to my Facebook page, Facebook.com/JuicyDigitalFB. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm tuning out.